Hello. I am doing an updated what I eat in a week vlog, and I'm actually gonna start it with a snack that I'm making. I usually never do much snacks, but I do have dates. I've always loved dates, and I felt like in the winter I wasn't craving dates as much, but now that it's officially very summertime vibes, I am making some date balls because I got these from the grocery store the other day, but I used to always make these. I used to literally make like bliss balls when I was like fully having my company Live Blissed out at events, and I would sell these bliss balls. So they're basically like power balls. I already pitted all of these dates. I actually got walnuts. I know I haven't been doing really any nuts, but I am gonna be experimenting with what it's like to do some nuts here and there just for a little bit more like energy and fiber, and just mixing it up because it's an updated what I eat in a week vlog. So it's not going to be like as strict carnivore animal based as I used to be. It's still animal based. Like literally I had a whole bowl of ground beef for breakfast, and that's what you'll be seeing as my foundation of food. But I am just incorporating, you know, other types of food. So we're starting with the date balls, but I won't be eating those right away. I'm just prepping them for the week. So this is a finished product of my bliss balls. It's so crazy that it's been so long since I've made these, but still animal based, but really into the fruits and coconut. I feel like that's in my blood. Everyone from the state of India I'm in, which is called Tamil Nadu, it's literally like all coconuts. So I feel like this just feels really good, the high fats, and then a little bit of walnuts. I also put a sprinkle of pumpkin spice and cardamom. I just love those like chai-like spice flavors, but it's super light. And then key ingredient, just to, you know, keep me fueled throughout the day and electrolytes and all, I put Celtic salt in here. So it has a really nice salty touch. It's just even like 1 or 2 and I'm just like, whoa, got the brain fuel. It feels really good. Okay, and this is lunch. It's not too big, but honestly, since I've been doing breakfast earlier in the day, I haven't needed a huge lunch, and I did have like a taste of the dates and nuts, so that did keep me a little bit fueled, and I had some cacao as well today. But this is a piece of bacon, which is the skinnier part, and then 2 pieces of back bacon, which is really different, but I love this brand called Beeler's. It's really the only like pasture raised good source of bacon I've seen in grocery stores. I know they do sell nationwide, but definitely not at like standard grocery stores, more so the very health focused type of grocery stores. So it's Beeler's bacon, and then I have a pasture egg, tiny half piece of avocado with a few sesame seeds, and then Redmond real salt sprinkled all over this. But I'm going to have this, and then I'm headed into a few calls and meetings right now. It's the next day, dinner time. Today was a long day, but I'm making dinner. I've got a little bit of ground beef, half of, or like a quarter of a ribeye steak, grass-fed, and then I cracked an egg over the ground beef and then melted a little bits of cheese. Such a random leftover meal, but just gotta get the animal-based foods into fuel. Finished product, all that ground beef, egg scramble, and cheese, and then little bits of a ribeye steak. This is a treat. I actually haven't been having steak often, but I did have a bag in my freezer that had like 3 grass-fed ribeye steaks. So I did take them out to thaw, so I get to have and treat myself to some ribeyes today. Just felt called to like bring it back to balance with the animal-based carnivore style meals, but still a sprinkle of all the other foods. And then I also just got my period today, so we are just staying fueled, but not crazy appetite. This is lunch the next day, kind of my go-to meal, but every week I've been experimenting with tossing in a different kind of fibrous vegetable. So it's been snap peas, organic snap peas, and I've been liking the crunch. It's been great for digestion, to be honest, but it's just ground beef, sauteed in tallow with some snap peas and a little bit of sesame seaweed seasoning and Redmond real salt. It's Thursday morning. This is literally the best breakfast ever. Pasture-raised bacon and back bacon. Got the guacamole master. Putting some avocado on that toast. Really good organic sourdough. And I toasted it in the bacon grease. Wish you could feel and see this crunch. You can hear it. Oh. Ceremony. Bacon avocado toast with egg ceremony. Just got back from a coffee shop and I'm making what I had yesterday, ground beef with some organic snap peas, just for a little bit of crunch, a little bit of fiber, and then the ground beef. It's actually Ancestral Blend. So it's Ancestral Blend, which is ground beef with heart and liver. I get it from Perennial Pastures. It's the same ranch I work with. Literally like my go-to meat I have it at least like once every 2 days, if not every day. So either that or just plain ground beef is just like my haven. It keeps my body, my temple, my everything just safe, stable, sturdy, steady, just like really nourished. And I know that my digestion is going to be okay when I primarily have ground up meat. The cool thing about like Ancestral Blend or just ground beef is that the beef is taken from all of the trimmings of like all parts of the animal. So when we talk about like nose to tail nutrition, eating all parts of the animal, it's incredible because you're literally eating all parts of the animal when you have ground up meat, but it's also so much easier to digest because it's all ground up. Like, as much as I love steaks, it does not hit the same and feel like as peaceful on my body as ground beef does. So nose to tail eating, I feel like literally eat that every single day, getting so many, like such a variety of nutrients. And this is also a fun fact, like collagen is such a big hype. Everyone wants collagen, but a lot of the more like, I don't want to call them tougher pieces, but the tougher pieces of meat on the carcass, or the more like cartilagey cuts on the animal carcass, those cuts have a ton of collagen. So ground beef itself, I don't know about the ground beef you're sourcing, but at least the one from Perennial Pastures, because it's the trimmings of all the parts of the animal carcass, you're not only eating nose to tail, but you're also getting like a ton of collagen. So really stoked about that. Really stoked about getting this nourishment in my body because I'm hungry and I'm like on day 3 of my period, so I'm feeling it, but I just want nourishment and to digest well. There it is. I've also been experimenting with organic coconut aminos. I'm like super anti sauces, but I did want to get like an Asian style thing going whenever I do like carrots or snap peas in my ground beef. And then I also had a friend recommend me this seasoning, just amazing for like electrolyte balance and getting those minerals in. It has sesame seed, seaweed, and sea salt in it. But I also do use Redmond real salt as like my primary salt. It just feels the best with my energy. I feel like when I do a good amount of Redmond real salt throughout the week and day, and especially started off in my day, it just regulates me a lot. So we're gonna get some of these going. Yeah, just a dash, and then mix that in. And then this is my beautiful, very simple, quick meal. It's dessert time. I don't do this often, but I'm on my period and I'm feeling it. And I'm just really excited to share this with you because I've been re-healing my relationship with these like childhood pleasures. And one of them has to be brownies. I freaking love brownies. I'm gonna show you the brownie in a second, but also milk. And I've been like trying all the kinds of milk recently. I never used to have a full glass of milk, but it's just like an occasional treat to drink a full glass of milk over ice with some kind of treat. And that could literally just be like well-sourced dark chocolate. But today I do have half a brownie I got that's fully organic from Prager Bros, where I got my sourdough bread. But this is the milk I've been having. It's Alexander Family Farms. It's available at Whole Foods. That's like the main place I've seen it actually available. And it's A2 organic milk, and it's certified regenerative, which is pretty cool. I've tried raw dairy, I've tried like different kinds of milk, and none of them seem to sit right. I'm still honestly testing it out. Like, I'm pretty new to the milk game. You know, I put like cream in my coffee and like splashes of milk, but as far as like full on drinking straight up milk, I'm still pretty new to it. So gonna give this a twirl, but I'm also gonna show you my dessert right now because I'm literally obsessed with it. It's like the biggest treat ever. Here we go. I got like an awesome ice cube in there, poured the Alexander Family Farms milk, whole milk with a lot of cream. I got the Prager Bros organic brownie. It's literally like less than half left. I just can't have it all in one sitting, but oh my gosh, I can't tell you what a great match this is. Like, I literally feel like I'm healing my inner child by eating brownie with a whole glass of milk. And it's a warm day too, so this is just so refreshing. Later that day, I treated myself to one of my favorite meals ever that I shared with my man. It was a grass-fed ribeye steak with carrots and plantains, cooked outside so I didn't smoke up the entire studio. So yesterday night, we went out to our favorite restaurant here in San Diego. It's called Aladdin Mediterranean Restaurant. They're like one of the only restaurants I know that have amazing portion sizes and use halal and grass-fed meat. So especially the beef and the lamb is just to die for. I'm gonna include a clip right here of the meal. We actually called ahead of time to get this meal because it takes like 45 minutes of prep. You pay for it before, but then we got seated and got an appetizer, amazing dessert and all of that. But it's like lamb shanks and this amazing Mediterranean rice. Definitely so much rice. I'm actually gonna show you what I'm doing with the leftovers of this meal right now because it's gonna be prepped for later today. Okay. So look, this is all of the rice, and we actually just took a big chunk right now to make for some breakfast for my man. He loves his rice, and there's some little bits of lamb shank meat left. But taking all the bones from yesterday and placing them in here, I'm gonna fill it up with a little bit of water and actually place some beef shanks in it. We're gonna do some nice nature time today, so we're gonna come home to like a really nice slow cooked bone broth gelatinous meal right here. But right now I'm gonna take you out to see what's cooking for breakfast. It's a nice sunny day out here. Got the meat, got that leftover rice, got some chicken, snap peas, carrots, plantains. This is all the Ancestral Blend Ground Beef with heart and liver. Hello. And amazing chef right here. So this is all frozen beef crosscut shank, basically the same cut from the lamb, except the lamb, they kept the whole shank intact. This is cross cut, basically. So you see the nice bone marrow in there. Cow shank is obviously way big and beefier than a lamb shank, but I'm just gonna put this in frozen because we're gonna be out pretty much all day. Filled it up with water, and this is all gonna just fall apart really nicely. I'm gonna put it on high heat, and then hopefully by the time we're heading out today, I can break these apart to spread it out, and then it'll just be super low and slow for several hours until we come back. Breakfast brunch is ready. Been loving cooking outside because the studio I'm in will just get way too steamy. So this is really great. This is breakfast. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, so now I broke apart the 3 shanks, put a little bit of seasoning and salt, submerged all of the lamb bones underneath, hoping for a really gelatinous broth. And then I took it off high heat for an hour. Now it's at 5 hours of low heat. When we come back home, dinner should be ready. Okay, we're back home several hours later. Investing in a crock pot that has a timer on it is incredible. But look at this crosscut shank. This is what people talk about when they say fall off the bone. Like, so good. It's got that lamb flavor, but the beef flavor as well. So nourishing for dinner and just a quick go-to meal if you're doing like a meal prep. The bone marrow is so satiating, so delicious. I definitely come back to this again and again. Okay, so we're a few days into this what I eat in a week video, and I will say that although I'm trying to capture every single meal, I'm still living life, being present with relationship, with family, with sometimes where I'm just eating solo and I want to be in the presence and don't have my camera out, but I'm capturing as many meals as possible so you kind of get the gist of what I'm eating in a week currently and how that has evolved from the past several months and even 2 years that I've been eating very animal-based and ancestral. So Friday and Saturday was kind of indulgent. Saturday, we visited my man's family. We just love celebrating with just standard American foods. It's honestly been helping me reheal my relationship to foods like pizza and cookies. So we go to this like great pizza spot. I never used to have pizza. It's just been a food that I've taken completely out of my diet, but I did revisit it and I've been doing that maybe like once every few months and it's a super, super treat. I actually feel fine with it, but because it's not based in protein, I do feel the effects. Like my body's not fully satiated and I'm kind of thrown off for a few, like maybe a day or two. We also had cookies. My man's mom makes the best chocolate chip oatmeal walnut cookies, and I've been having them as a treat like every other month or so whenever we visit for the past year. And yeah, they're such a treat, but I tend to like just go all out and overeat a little bit, which is not ideal. I'm sure the cookies would hit different if I didn't eat a bajillion at the same time, but they do. And since I've been drinking more milk, like you saw the milk with the brownie treat, that's how I like to enjoy the cookies, as I've been just incorporating just full glasses of milk. It's been super healing. Okay, I'm gonna squat to get more comfortable for the rest of this conversation. But basically, this happens when there's a few days, whether it's family, social gatherings, like I've tried the lifestyle where I'm just super strict, and I've honestly grown to love just being able to have the foods I want when I want. But the most important part is trusting yourself, like trusting that if you go off the, off trail a little bit, off your path a little bit with your food and your diet, that your body will guide you back to what you need. And that, let's say, I have a past with disordered eating and binge eating. I wasn't able to trust myself for years because I was scared that if I did eat some kind of trigger food, that would trigger a binge and I would just go like off the walls. And so that's why like I did eat restricted in a way, but I also want to bring up the fact that like I feel like restriction is not always bad. Like sometimes you have to retrain your body and your system to want the real whole foods. So it's not about being strict. If you're eating real whole foods, you're not being restrictive, you're just eating real foods. But in today's society, that might seem strict if you're not having a cookie or pizza or ice cream or all the things. But because over the past few years with my more diet-based, intentional eating, I've trained my body to really know what satiation feels like, to eat a lot of protein, to have beef as a foundation. And so if I do veer off track a little bit, like I definitely feel the effects, and I feel the effects so much that it makes me crave like, oh my gosh, I just want to eat a bowl of ground beef. And like my body knows, it's like, all right, you've had that, you're experiencing the bloating, you're experiencing the indigestion, any constipation, any energy crashes, and now it's time to get back on track. So Monday, I am working, I'm taking a break, and I'm just gonna go back to my beef basics. I did want to try to eat earlier, but I was just honestly like on a roll with some work stuff, and I had a really nice morning cup of cacao, and I wasn't feeling super hungry. So I'm going to have a feast brunch right now. I almost forgot, before I cook up my brunch, my man did cut up some fruit, and honestly, I'm kind of nervous. I haven't been doing mango because it's just been so intense on my system for like the past 2 years, but there is a little bit of mango in here, as you can see, and then there's some great peaches and a lot of cantaloupe. I'm definitely not going to eat all of this, but I'm going to have a few bites right now. I just love mango so much, especially being from India. Like mango is literally the food that just is like a love language in that culture, but I just need to reintroduce all these different types of fruits. But it is totally a warm summer day, so I'm gonna enjoy a few pieces of this, get my digestive system going. I don't like to food combine too much, so like I can't eat fruit on the same plate as my steak, but I can have a few nibbles before on a fresh empty stomach, feel that detox going, and then by the time, it'll be like 20 minutes probably by the time I'm finished cooking, then I can just enjoy my steak after nibbling on this. Oh my god, mango is so freaking good. So I'm preheating the cast iron. We're gonna get it pretty steamy. I've been doing it out at the grill table outside, but this will do for today just because I want it pretty quick. And okay, side note, I have an electric stove right now, and that's just what this studio comes with, but I cannot wait until I actually have a gas fire stove. So in the future, grateful for this right now. And here is my carrot and ribeye prep. This is like a perfect size ribeye, I feel, to just be like a full-on feast, a good amount of fat. The carrots are gonna be delicious. Just did the first flip. The sear is looking so good. I like it medium rare. Got that crunch, got that really nice sear on both sides. I'm gonna show you a little closer look. There we go. Oh yeah. finished product. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited about this brunch, and honestly, it's a huge launch day at work, so I feel like I'm just extra celebrating. This is phenomenal. The next morning, we're still here in my studio, and we're actually having my favorite breakfast. Toasting up some sourdough in bacon grease, and I'm also having that cool back bacon, mashing up avocado. So it's gonna be avocado toast with some bacon. Oh my gosh. I can't even tell you how good this organic sourdough is toasted in all this grease. I didn't even have to add any butter. And seriously, saturated animal fats are the way to go. It just like keeps you so fueled. And then I'm also doing a different kind of healthy fat. So this is only about like a quarter of an avocado. I can't do that much avocado, just feels heavy for me, but this is all gonna sit really well. I have a meeting in 10 minutes. I usually don't like rushing with food, but I still wanted to really enjoy a breakfast. And this is my quick and easy brunch. Super fat fueled, so it's gonna keep me good for these next 2 meetings I have back to back. And then gonna be the afternoon, probably around 3-ish. I'll come back for like another snack / meal. Still trying to do like 3 meals a day, but just some days either I don't have the appetite or I'm not feeling it or time. So just aiming to eat throughout the day, good balance of all the macronutrients too. Finish those meetings, and here I got to one of those date bliss balls I made at the very beginning of this week, and so I still have a few more left. They're in the fridge, nice and cold. Still got that little bit of the pumpkin spice, nutty, coconutty flavor. These have been coming in clutch, and I love that I made them and that it literally took like less than 20 minutes, but then just lasted me all week. Great snack. And I can't wait to make the next batch and just play around with different ingredients too. Last meal of the day is just Ancestral Blend Ground Beef. So that's the ground beef with heart and liver. And then it got a little bit of halloumi Persian cheese melted in there. And then red mineral salt. So just super simple, classic meal. Did a little bit of an outdoor kettlebell workout, just right out here. And then I'm having this, and then I'm actually gonna go to a yin yoga class, but just getting back to the basics after a few days of not all my foundational foods. Yeah, just getting back on track, letting the body heal up, getting back to its rhythm, trusting in the body. Just got back from a yoga class. I'm about to gua sha, so I have my hair braided back. I actually sleep in a braid, gonna put a headband on, and got my red light on. But I have a little bit of a dilemma because I was like thinking about just having that ground beef I had before and then fasting, but I still don't feel totally full, and sometimes like just for my mind to be settled, I still need some nourishment. So I don't want to do like something super elaborate, but luckily I still have the leftover of the lamb bone broth with beef crosscut shank, which is right here. And I want to show you how the consistency comes out when it's like in the fridge after a day or two, and it's just really soaking in all of that gelatinous bone collagen stuff. Here we go. And as you can see, it's just got that really nice jello. And then we got some meat bit in there, but I'm mostly gonna just have the broth with a little bit of the meat right now. But this is successful broth. Good morning. It's about 10:30, doing a little bit better with not fasting so late in the morning. It's just another bowl of Ancestral Blend ground beef. This is about half a pound of that ground beef. In just a few days, it's gonna be July 4th, and I'm gonna be going out of town to see family. So I'm trying to just wipe my refrigerator out of every food that is in there that might go bad if it's in there for more than like a few days. And so I'm not buying anything new, but I'm actually gonna wrap up this what I eat in a week video here with my last meal. It is gonna be the ground beef Ancestral Blend, but I'm also going to do some plantains. I freaking love plantains, so I'm gonna show you how I cook them up. They just feel so nourishing. I haven't really had any kind of like carbs today, just pretty much meat for my first meal, some leftover chicken, and then also some bacon. So right now I am gonna have plantains, I'm gonna have beef, and then maybe some fruit as a treat afterwards. So typically with plantains, I do about half for a meal, so then it lasts me for 2 meals. It's so satisfying. I got the pan heated up. I'm gonna put some butter on there, melt it in really good, and then I'm gonna do beef and plantains and just stir fry it all together. And here's the beef I use. I tear it open every time, so I haven't been able to show you the package, but this is the grass-fed finished Ancestral Blend from Perennial Pastures, which is the ranch I work with. Everything is regeneratively raised too, and this specific blend has the beef heart and liver. This is like my go-to staple every week. If you do want a discount on this and want to subscribe to it, I have a discount code and link, but honestly, like, yeah, this is the majority of what I eat, so I'm gladly selling this to you. So we got the beef all ground up. I kind of like pat it down so it's seared, and then I use a spatula to make it all ground up. And then the plantains got a nice sear. They're pretty dense compared to bananas, so they do need some time to slow cook as well. Some people even boil them. I haven't tried that, but I do like how they come out just like nice and crunchy this way. And I think with this meal, I'm actually gonna drizzle some honey on the entire thing as well. Ooh, this is gonna be so nourishing. Got all my macronutrients going strong in this meal. All the butter, the ghee, the honey, the beef, the plantains. So nourishing, so simple. Always get raw honey. This is from a fruit stand on the way to the ranch. Every time I drive up there, it's called Trumpers. So if you are in the Ramona or Warner Springs area, East San Diego, then this is where you could stop by, get the most amazing dates and honey. I just gobbled that entire nourishing bowl down as steady and as slowly and as presently as possible, but it was so delicious, so nourishing. My belly is really happy right now. I feel nourished to get into the rest of the meetings for the day, but I am going to be wrapping up this what I eat in a week video here. I hope that gave you a good sense of how I really utilize the animal-based ancestral approach to eating while still being flexible and experimental and having fun. But I honestly just love my ground beef bowls so much too, but how I also just kind of like experiment with other foods because I don't want to be so strict, but I also in a way enjoy it because it does keep me so nourished, so satiated. I'm able to really trust into my food cravings, and we talked about this before, but trusting within your intuition and what your body is leading you to is so important, but that's only sometimes possible with discipline. I always come back to this quote, and it's discipline gives you actual freedom. And when you are not disciplined in your foundational health needs, then you are kind of becoming a slave to like the routine, like when I used to drink coffee every day or be dependent on different supplements, or I'm just not really taking ownership of how I'm eating, what I'm sourcing with, what my body needs the most, and then creating an environment where my body and my mind and my soul feels like it's safe enough to not live with rigid rules. So I do say I'm animal-based. I feel like I follow a very ancestral-based diet, but I still have different foods here and there that I love and enjoy, and it doesn't feel like a cheat meal. I don't use that word ever, but I do feel like I feel the most free I've ever felt, because food used to feel very restrictive and very anxious for me, just coming from a background of disordered eating and binge eating. But I feel like I can eat a meal and just feel so nourished. So prioritizing protein, prioritizing fat, and then really listening to my body when I need the carbs, and then making sure I'm eating like 99% real whole foods, because it's the processed foods that actually get in the way of your chemistry. It gets in the way of your intuition, because those foods are basically fucking with nature. And so they aren't really gonna signal the proper cravings or needs for you, because they're not real food. So eating things that come in its most natural, real form is the way to go. that's my updated what I eat in a week. It is like summer of 2023 for reference. It's crazy, like 2 years ago, I was deep into a very strict carnivore diet. So it's really amazing to continue to evolve with this diet and way of being, which is really what it is. And let me know if you have any questions. Please give this a thumbs up if you enjoyed and liked this video. It was really fun to make. It takes a good amount of like editing and piecing everything together, and it's kind of fun to just reflect back on my week and see all the meals I've eaten. So I'm gonna have fun editing this, and thank you all so much for being a part of this journey.